Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you guys have been enjoying your Tuesday so far. I got you a pretty quick video. Not going to hold you guys up very long this evening. We're going to give you an update on what is happening with this potential pattern change. I wouldn't even call it potential. It's likely to happen. For the most part this week, really the beginning of this week so far, and then the rest of the work week is going to be pretty quiet. I would say 75, 80, maybe even 85% of the country is going to be above average temperature wise, so most people are enjoying some nice spring weather, but some changes are going to occur this weekend. So we're going to talk about what we do know, which is not a whole lot, but there has been an area that has been hatched, if you will, for a 15% chance of severe weather, including areas of Iowa and even northern Missouri for Saturday. That's this coming weekend. So we're going to talk about what we do know about that area and then talk about the active, probably more aggressive pattern that's going to set up as we get into this weekend going forward into the first technical full week of March. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. The growth during these slow times is very important, and I really appreciate people who continue to tune in regardless if it's active or not. I really do appreciate that, guys. But if you guys got anything I can pray about, definitely put it in the comments. Gives me an opportunity to pray over them, gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get going here. Here's this 15% risk. This is for Saturday morning through Sunday morning this coming weekend. And you got this 15% risk that is potential for all hazards, but I think the biggest deal with this is going to be damaging winds. But we'll continue to see how this unfolds. Normally this time of the year, you don't have a lot of big-time surface moisture. Dew points is what I'm meaning, that really get that deep, rich moisture. I'm talking about dew points in the 60s and 70s to get up into this area. But you do get these stout, low-level jet, and you're going to have a lot of speed shear with this. So I do think there's going to be a damaging wind threat inside of this risk area. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what we do know. What's going on here is we're going to start this for around Thursday afternoon. You got a tall ridge building in the central to west central U.S., and then you have troughing continuing in the northeast. It's going to keep y'all relatively average as far as temperature-wise. This will continue to scoot more east, and then the ridge will build across the eastern U.S. in general. And then you will start to get these short waves troughs that will begin to dig, and these low pressures that scoot across this boundary that will set across the eastern U.S. When this happens, you have pretty much two dynamic atmospheres clashing together. You have more dry Arctic air clashing against more moist air. So when that happens, in general, you normally get some kind of disruption in the force, and normally you get some active weather, whether that's severe weather, whether that's a big time winter storm. You normally get some kind of dynamic system. So this is the first little system we watch, this little shortwave trough that digs. There's going to be another one that digs. This has the potential to dig a little bit more southeast as that boundary in general shifts a little bit more southeast, and then we're probably going to have some other storm system. Do you get some kind of separation from the northern stream and southern stream here? Not sure. This is getting pretty far out. This is getting over a week out. But you see the pattern in general. We look at this as far as precipitation with, green being rain, blue being snow, and then, the yellows and oranges off tropical tidbits being the heavy rain. Here we go. We're going forward here, and here's that system, that shortwave trough that develops that low pressure right here. And then you have the potential for maybe an intense snowstorm, maybe even blizzard conditions in the Dakotas. We just have to watch the track of this. And then with this, it's going to surge some higher dew points into maybe the 50s, maybe pushing 60 in these areas right here, all the way 50s, all the way up into the Iowa area, northern Missouri. With that, you're going to have some kind of low-level jet pushing probably 70 to 80 knots. So you're going to have a lot of wind energy with this. And then you're going to have a little bit of cape, which is what I'm about to show you here. But in general, you see this system right here. This flies through. Another system flies through as we're getting into maybe a week from now. And this tracks a little bit further south with a little bit more cold air up top. And then we have to see, maybe does this produce any severe weather as we're getting into Sunday, into Monday? We'll have to see here. Does this produce some snow for Iowa, the same areas that maybe got severe weather a couple of days prior? We'll have to see. We're just not sure. But in general, you get a storm track that sets up that could be quite active. So we just have to see what happens. We start to get pretty far out. And in general, you see a lot going on here, a lot of energy flying around, and just the weather for the lower 48 in general becomes much more active. But let's focus on that severe weather threat for Saturday. Here you go. These are temperatures as we're getting into Saturday for high temperatures. It potentially gets into the 60s, maybe some 70s into northern Missouri. So as far as surface heating, as far as surface temperatures, you know, you're getting temperatures in the 60s and 70s. That's not super favorable thermos, in short, what we call, which consist of dew points, CAPE, that storm juice, and those surface temperatures, what you feel when you're standing on the surface of the ground. Only in the 60s and 70s. And you got what you call a triple point right in here, which is consist of where that dry air mass meets and that moist, more warm air mass meets. And normally you have that low-level jet just to the southeast. So I don't think anything, we'll have to watch. It's hard for me to sit here and say, well, what's going to happen, but is anything going to become discrete? And even if it does, is there going to be enough of all these pieces of energy, pieces of basically elements that come together to create tornadoes? Is there going to be enough for any kind of tornadoes in this? I would lean towards no. This is probably going to be a damaging wind threat, but these are temperatures. Notice you got the Arctic air. These aren't dew points. These are temperatures. You got sub-freezing temperatures up just northwest of this low pressure, and then you have temperatures in the 60s into Iowa. So, you know, a pretty sharp gradient, right? You look at CAPE, convective energy in this area. It's only going to be pushing maybe 500, 750, 800 joules per kilogram. So not a lot of CAPE, but enough to maybe fire up some convective energy. You mix that little bit of CAPE right in here, right when you have that 15% risk, and then you look at something like dew points, which I meant to show you here. Let me look at right here. You look at dew points for the same time frame. You back this up. Dew points are going to be rising into the 60s, maybe some 50s. I'm sorry, 50s, maybe some 60s into this range. So you're going to have a little bit of moisture to deal with, but look at the Arctic air clashing through just by, and look at this triple point right into here. So we'll just have to watch this. I really don't think this is going to be a huge severe weather outbreak by any means, but I think this is going to be a damaging wind enhanced risk. Not enhanced, but slight risk. It could trend to an enhanced risk. We'll just have to see how this trends. But here's that low-level jet as you're getting into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening for Iowa and northern Missouri. That is pushing, 60 to 70 knots. So that is a stout low-level jet. You're going to have a lot of speed shear. So basically, you're going to have a lot of wind energy. But you're going to be lacking the thermodynamics you need for a big-time severe weather event like a very rich surface moisture, temperatures. You really need temperatures in the 70s at least. And then, kinematics are going to be there. You're going to have a lot that, like I said, that wind field, but you're going to be lacking in a lot of the other things that you need. So I really think this is going to be a damaging wind threat. I think this is going to be a quick moving event. I think these storms are going to be moving very fast. I think it'll warm up very quickly up into Iowa, Missouri, but then Arctic air clashes, and then you cool right back down and go back to winter for these areas. So I think this is going to be, I wouldn't even call it a tone setter, but I think this will kind of be a tone setter for the start of a much more aggressive pattern. So that's all I got, guys. We'll continue to monitor this situation and see if it uptrends, and we'll watch the systems behind it, because if you get that through, here comes the next system with another high wind piece of energy here. This low-level jet, this is another low pressure, and we have to watch areas a little bit further southeast as we move into later in the weekend, into early next week. Then we continue to watch other pieces of energy that flies through. That's all I got. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless everybody. Stay safe.